Hello, welcome to ETManufacturing. So today we are doing the roundtable session with the Indian machine tool industry leaders. So I have with me today Mr. Parakram Singh Jadeja, who is the chairman and managing director of Jyoti CNC Automation. Then we have Mr. Ravi Raghavan, who is the managing director of BFW. Then we have Mr. Indradev Babu, who is the managing director of UCAM, and Mr. TK Ramesh, managing director of Ace Micrometric Group. So I just want to understand from your perspective, because you have been in the machine tool industry for long. You are like veteran. Everyone is veteran in the industry. So we need to understand what kind of trends currently shaping the machine tool industry. I will start with Mr. Jadeja in terms of the market dynamics, how the market is changing, and what kind of preferences the customers have today.
There's a lot of technology shift are being seen, and mainly digitization is increasing more and more. It's completely shifted. Earlier, all the people used to make a machine to be more precise with the hand scrapping and to be more and more manpower to be used and all. Today, this all the artificial intelligence, machine learning, all algorithms, and taking over this technology leap over here, and it's happening worldwide, not in India. Everywhere, it's in the same platforms are happening, and that's the. I think all the industries are on a transformation phase today.
Right. Yeah. So, Mr. Raghavan, BOW has already ventured into the outside market. I think, if I'm not wrong, in Europe and even Africa also. So, do you see the customer preferences or the requirements from their actual needs in terms of what kind of machine tools they buy? So, how is it like globally, and how is it like India?
Yeah, as Mr. Jadeja said, they're all expecting India or abroad on high technology, right? Earlier, there was a big gap in the technology between India and the other countries. Now that's narrowed drastically. So what India can bring to the table is the automation and the digitization. And that's what we are focusing on. And many of these automations are built into the machine. It's not an earlier thing of only the material handling part. You have, for example, robo as part of a tool changer and things like that. So the gap, I would say, from a technology point is narrowing between India and the other countries. And that's where we as the company are focused.
Okay. So, Mr. Babu, both of them spoke on the technology. So I want to understand what kind of infrastructure and resources in Indian industry. So are we ready for adopting those kind of technologies in India?
Yeah,
and the resources.
No doubt. As such, for manufacturing, we are in the field of manufacturing. The infrastructure is not so much. It's more about the aspect of real estate. Okay, so people want to expand. The cost of real estate and availability of suitable connectivity, these are certain areas. But as such, setting up a factory and putting in internal infrastructure is not a challenge. But let me extend myself to the challenge that all growing companies, manufacturing companies are facing is need for high level of skill. So the skill is not just in terms of people in the shop floor. At various levels, we need skills. We need people who can set up process, people who can implement the process, starting from CAD/CAM competencies to effective and efficient machining capabilities. So these are where there's more demand than supply. So this is a little bit of a gap. So this is one area. But as such, infrastructure is, India is a growing country. We all know that general other infrastructure is a challenge, but we are learning to live with it.
Right. So Mr. Ramesh, when we talk about technology, you need the workforce to operate those technologies. So do you think there are challenges in terms of upskilling or in terms of training or workforce arrangement which is required for adoption of this technology?
Are there challenges? There are definitely challenges. See, from a workforce upskilling perspective, when from my perspective, when the infrastructure really whatever said and done, the machine tool building business as well as the machine tool use business is a lot of brick and mortar. That means you have to be physically present. It's about parts, it's about oil, it's about accuracy, it's about maintenance, whatever is the level of automation there. So skilling people has been and will continue to be a problem. But what makes the challenge even more difficult is there are other options that are available. There are several industries that are competing for the same kind of manpower and resource. So from a people perspective, people get into education or people get into jobs to see how they benefit. So the question of how do you build skill, and more importantly, how do you build ownership?
Right.
See, even for a skilled person to do a job, he needs to own that I'm doing this. And again, the ownership of selling a machine, or the ownership of testing a machine, or the ownership of using a machine. So is this going to be a challenge? It's definitely going to be a challenge. In addition to skills, I believe it's going to be a sense of, satisfaction, belonging and ownership, no matter whether he's on the building side or on the use side. Will this be a challenge? It will definitely be a challenge, because we'll continue to remain a brick and mortar kind of a company, and it's going to take some time before people really start realizing that, services to manufacturing to agriculture, there are those inherent differences that has to be accepted and that has to be worked. Now, which gets priority? Trading in something and then making by valuation, or building, working with the material cost and ASP, and that comes into the picture. So that that challenge will definitely remain.
So, I will continue with you only. Since currently it's the totally competitive world, there are lots of MNCs, other players coming into India, which the market has opened up. There is a lot of demand from the domestic market. So what kind of growth and innovation opportunity do you see for the Indian machine tool industry?
There's plenty of opportunities for
be it the domestic market as well as the export.
Yeah. See, again, no matter what, all of us, I believe machines can be classified into three kind of distinct buckets. One is machines, which are sold as products, which have become and will continue to become more and more commoditized. Now, there it's all going to be a question of, effectiveness, efficiency, output, it's on cost and it's on commoditization, which is happening everywhere else. Now, in this commoditization also, there can be built-in layers like what Jadeja just mentioned about, whether it's a differentiator by IoT, differentiator by operating systems, or a mechanism to measure. These are generals. This is one side. The second side is machines that are not consumed in large numbers, which are premium to buy, not easy to make. And the third is about engineered solutions. That is, it could either be a difficult to make machine or an easy to make machine that comes together with tool, process parameters, measurements, correction of those measurements. So these are those three very distinct buckets. India is already become and is going to become more and more engineered, because we are the ones who are buying all the A320s and the 747s, and we are going to ask for manufacturing. So they are the ones who are going to come, and whether we like it or whether we don't like it, people will look for use. Boeing is using there, so they would like to use this in India. No. So how do we really innovate to give them that value, whether it's dimension, finish, and also the experience of maintaining it through its life cycle? See, machine tools has a TCO and has a life. So if 100 is the cost of the product, maybe 160 or 200 is the lifetime cost. So how much we can servitize, how much we can continue to work, and where do we look for our margins is where the big innovation is going to.
Correct. So, Mr. Raghavan, I will come to you. Traditionally, machine tool has been dependent on automotive industry. So, do you see any sectors coming up in a big way, competing with automotive sector? So, which are those sectors and what kind of machine tools are being produced for?
Yeah, traditionally the automobile has been the biggest consumer, but even now with the EV, there are quite a few components that have to get developed. So there's some more time that automobile will still be the leader in consumption. But a huge amount of opportunities are opening up in defense, for example, where the type of machines are different, bigger, complex, tougher machines, aerospace, railways, and now the electronic manufacturing, where complex, different graphite and things like that material machining is also needed. So there are different sectors now coming up, but maybe from 65% automobile will go to 45%, will still be a big volume consumer. But globally, electronics has been the biggest consumer. If we take our nearest competitor, which is China, which has been consuming a large amount of machines from a number perspective in the EMS sector. So that's a big opportunity for India going forward.
So, Mr. Jadeja, you see, there are a lot of developments happening in terms of this China plus one strategy. Like many companies, they have started shifting their manufacturing base from China to other countries like India and Vietnam. So, do you see opportunity for Indian machine tool industry in this phase, and what kind of government initiatives do you think can help in this?
Yes, this China plus one, we are seeing and we are feeling it and really getting into business today. And if I look at that, in the last 3 years, the business growth in India is happening. Really, many companies from abroad is coming over here and establishing their vendors and supply chain like that. The world largest mobile manufacturers are here now. It's setting up their big facilities and all.
Right.
And everybody's are going to be beneficial for that. So yes, and this directly not an beneficiary for a machine tool. The government doesn't have any scheme like PLI to a machine tool companies. But our customers are having this kind of a beneficiary, let's say PLI schemes and all. And that's are converting our business, and that we are getting the business.
Okay. So, Mr. Babu, if we take this discussion further about China plus one strategy, as well as the initiatives from the government like Make in India or Atmanirbhar Bharat. So, like Mr. Jadeja mentioned, there is no PLI scheme for the specific to machine tool industry, but the customers can have. So, do you think going forward in the coming years, these initiatives from the government will help the industry, and what kind of opportunities synchronizing with these initiatives you can see in the industry?
There's no doubt that the PLI scheme has been helping the industry, and there is a spurt, and it has helped us indirectly, as already Mr. Jadeja has mentioned. But moving forward, the policies, I'm sure the government will adopt and fine-tune it, because the world is changing, the demands are changing, and the customer expectations are changing. So the point is that industries can't just rely on PLI schemes. They have to get ready for the actual true opportunities and that is throwing up. So industries have to now gear up because this is really a great time, and we have been seeing consistently business growth, and we are going to see the growth happening. At least it is expected next at least a decade that there will be a growth, because we need to bridge the gap. And the right things are happening in the country, and the mood is positive. So it's for more the industries to leverage, and the government have to definitely be sensitive and careful to fine tune. Of course, synergy is required between the two. Thank you.
Right. So, Mr. Ramesh, would you like to add to this in terms of how this government initiatives, the Make in India or Atmanirbhar Bharat, is adding to the development of the machine tool industry? See, how can the industry make the most of it?
Actually, there are two parts. One part is how is the government doing it? The very fact that a platform has been created for manufacturing as a whole obviously has benefits for the machine tool or any machinery manufacturing industry, because manufacturing itself is getting put on a platform. Now, how the machine tool industry can specifically look at it is, again, we need to interact more and specifically tailor make some of those skill, and also on development investments and R&D. See, for example, if you take China, they've got 10 times the group R&D kind of efforts that happen exclusively on machine tools than what we have in India. Yes, we are trying to work with IITs. We're trying to put something. We've got one CMTI, maybe one. No, we need to have
More.
many more of them. The second aspect is, one is fundamental research, and the second is application research. So if these two can kind of be separately focused. The third part, which I believe a lot of government initiatives are looked at as state and center. Now, like what Babu just now mentioned about whether it's rare, two very significant factors for again a machine tool or a mechanical industry or a manufacturing industry is about land and about people. Now, all of these laws are controlled by the state. Center really, beyond a point, if that alignment is not there, cannot influence and push what is to be done. So, allocation of budgets perhaps is the easiest thing to do. How to use those budgets, how much of an involvement and specialized cells that can... See, again, I'm not saying that they're not doing. They're all looking at it from a plan, from a secretarial, from an allocation, but from a domain perspective, an equivalent domain. That's where I don't know, industry associations like, are in our association or whatever it is, or even a set of people who are from the industry to really coordinate the efforts and the budgets. I think this is one thing that's more focus needs to be spent on.
So, I would like to know more about what is the new innovation you are displaying at IMTEX, and how are you making it that for as per the industry needs? How are you making it suitable for the industry customer preferences?
So again, some of
Just brief me on what kind of innovative products
at our booth, we've got better versions of the machines that we're already making, and we've also got a lot of new innovation. For example, we're trying to look at a machine which can detect an incoming component, so that it decide whether it's part type A, type B, type C, and then get the right check, get the right parameters, the right program, and to do it so that it not only machines the part, but it takes the out of dedicated machines for example, we have an alloy wheel riser cutting machine. It's a very simple operation, but then somebody has to segregate the parts. Somebody will this is something that does some thinking, does some logic, and also does machining. So this is from an experience perspective. So innovation on experience, innovation on interface, and then we're trying to do a lot of IoT. The other aspects is getting into areas that we were not there, like we're looking at skywing. We were in sliding head automats. Now we're trying to look at the next level of sliding head automats. So it's a mix and match of experience, logic, and solutions. This is what we are innovating at our booth.
Mr. Babu, would you like to highlight the innovations which you are displaying at IMTEX?
Yeah, my company represents basically two areas of business at this exhibition, which the rotary indexing solutions is one main business for us. Therein, we have new products, what's called the roller cam table. Okay, there's been also expectation from customer, and we have come out with this product line. And apart from that, we have automation solutions, how someone can adopt automation, and also productive solutions so that the cycle time can be brought down. And also direct drive rotary tables. With respect to our CNC gear hobbers, we have dry cutting, hobbing, and hobbing with skywing options. And we have upgraded with thermal compensation and other IoT features into the machine, so that we are globally competitive. So these are some of the products. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Raghavan, would you like to highlight your exhibition?
Okay. Yeah, so there are two parts. One is from the machine side. We have showing a wider range of products from the multi-purpose machines, in the turning and milling machines, the 5-axis machines for lighter components as well as for heavy components. Then there are machines which are flow boring machines, the heavy duty machines, and high-speed smaller machines in milling. The second, from our subsidiary of digitization, we are launching a new additive machine which has, for the first time globally, has two additive technologies in a single machine and a subtractor. So it can cover all metals from aluminium to copper, the reflective materials to the titaniums in one setup with additive and subtractive. And the research from that for the space industries has been very, very significant. So that's being launched along with the AMR for the digitization. So these are a combination of machines and solutions.
Okay. Mr. Jadeja, would you like to highlight your exhibits at IMTEX?
So basically, our focus area was mainly on automation side. So one full range of our product we have built-in automation over here. Rather to have a robot isn't part of an interface from the external part, but integrated part. There are a lot of automations we have been displayed here. Second, there are multitasking machines. That's the people are looking to be a turning, milling, gear cutting, and grinding. All are together, and the complex shapes and the size, small to large. So that we have been displayed over here. And last, let's say we have focused on a non-cutting time to reduce that, because all our customers are wanted to be a machine to be most productive and still to be a precision. So speed and precision combination. So generally the trend was, let's say today, to machines to build up to 60 meters per minute like that. And we have made experimental things over here and put double the speed, higher the accelerations. And to achieve the target is to be a more non-cutting time to be reduced there. Okay. Of course, digitizations and all operating systems and all interface are like that. Operator, user friendly to be there. Those kind of things have been displayed.
Okay. Yeah, one last question. Maybe each of you can just in short mention about that. So how do you see the Indian machine tool industry evolving in the global manufacturing landscape, and what are your predictions for the future? Maybe we'll start with you.
So basically, it's a quantum jump we are going to see now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Today, let's say what we are seeing and we are talking, and the way every Indian machine tool builder are expanding their capacities and capabilities. I think in the near future, we are looking to be global, entire global is in market. India is, let's say, $3 billion consumption, but we all are here looking to be $80 billion market size. Okay. And all the ambitions like that. And our next generation people are joining. Let's say Gen Z people, their thinking is different. And their learning is very quick. And fear of experimental things is gone. And we are not feeling that, Raghavan has told that we are not feeling that there is a gap. In fact, now the stage we are going to look at in coming days, we are better than them.
Right. That's good.
That's the time is going to come now.
Right. So currently you think it's at par.
Yeah. So we are looking to be a multi-fold growth, not only the Indian market perspective, but we'll look to be a global player.
Global markets. Right.
Yeah.
Mr. Raghavan?
I think now we have really got entrenched very seriously into the global supply chain. So all of us will be participating, and I don't think any global supply chain will be without an Indian participation in the coming years. And that will make us very serious players. We are quick learners. What I think last decade has seen is India has been a quick learner and pick up. We didn't have that confidence. I think from the softer point, Indian manufacturing industry, particularly the machine tool industry, has got that confidence back very strongly. And I am very confident that next decade would be very interesting for us as an industry.
Right. Yeah, Mr. Bharat.
So, I'd like to, reiterate that there's a new level of maturity in the Indian manufacturing, and the globe is taking a real note of it, because India was not known for manufacturing. I don't think they can say that anymore. So doors would be more open for our products, but we have to remember that India itself is a big consumer at this moment, and so this is a new dimension, and I think manufacturing is many organizations and even youngsters are realizing manufacturing is a career now. There's a way to go forward. And I think we have plenty, bright future ahead in this direction, but we have to keep going there.
Right. So, Mr. Ramesh, what do you think about India's position in the global manufacturing?
Second, all my co-panelists have said, is it looking bright? It definitely is looking bright. There's no question about it. But if you look at the last 2-3 years, the machine tool market, which peaked at $125 billion, is now at $80 million, $85 million. When it was 125, India was 1 billion. Today, when it is 85, India is at 3 billion. So that again reiterates whatever was said. Having said that, there's also a reshaping that is happening. Because of the investments that are going to happen here and manufacturing moving westwards and the China Plus One that's happening. What happened in China some time back? So the landscape of manufacturing machine tools in India is also changing because a lot of people are coming in here because they want to be closer to the markets. So this itself will give a fill up to this 3 billion becoming 8 or 10 or whatever that number is going to be. This is on the positive side. On the other aspect, again, looking at our friends and the neighbors, China, there's a lot of subsystems that go into a machine tool. Now, the development of that subsystems is where the real exciting space is going to be. While we have, machine tool manufacturers per se who have plans. Now, we also need to have subsystem people, whether it's systems, whether it's ball screws, whether it is chucks, whether it is fixture. They really will have to
entire supply chain.
Have to really scale up and, a lot of it hinges on that. And that is one area that I believe the onus is on the machine tool manufacturers to really, what the automotive did to the automotive supply chain is what the machine tool people should do to the machine tool supply chain. This is the area that we really need to work. So we had the European way, we had the Taiwanese way, the Japanese way. We will have to find this as our Indian way, and this is happening.
Correct. Thanks a lot for all your valuable inputs. I'm sure with your joint efforts of the Indian machine tool industry, including all of you, India is definitely going to be a very important part of the global manufacturing landscape. So thanks a lot again for your presence and accepting my invitation to participate in the roundtable. And it's my pleasure to interact with you. Thank you.